Hello everyone and welcome to my Phase 2 leveling guide. The first part is going to contain preparations, but also tips and tricks you can use to get a head start, but also level more efficiently. And later on in the video there will also be different leveling routes you can use all the way up to 40 to make a lot of gold at the same time. You should try to get your character buffed as much as possible. What you can either do is to ask people in the open world to buff your character, or you could join a battleground and get buffed in there. Once you have got the buffs you need, then you'll simply leave the BG and you're now also ready to level more efficiently. You can also use battlegrounds as a quick teleport. So what you do is to sign up for the BG, then you use your Hearthstone to, for example, hand in a quest or purchase something at a specific zone. Once you have taken care of this, you join the BG and you leave immediately, and this will take you back to where you signed up, in this case Stormwind City. You can also use this trick another way. Let's say you're questing in the open world and you need to get back to a specific main city quickly. Then what you do is to look for people in the main city and ask them to sign you up for a BG. Because they are the ones signing you up, then you will also be taken back to the location where they spoke to the battleground master. If you're going to speed level in the open world or just do many different dungeons, then I would highly recommend you to also prepare consumables, especially healing and mana potions. When you're, for example, low on mana, then you can use the mana potion so you can also continue pushing even more forward. Or if you're low on health, healing potions will also help you a ton. You can also get yourself many different elixirs that will increase your character's performance for an hour. And remember to also purchase scrolls, especially Scroll of Agility and Scroll of Strength. Maybe you're already familiar with LogoutSkips and how they can teleport your character for a far distance to save you time. And even an add-on that will tell you where you will be taken if you perform a logout skip at a certain area. To perform a successful logout skip, you need to do this on top of a mushroom or an object that has been implemented into the game after they did the environment. It will require a bit of practice, but you could also prepare some of these logout skips to practice where you will do them in Phase 2. However, you will save a lot of time when you successfully do this. In this case, I for example saved more than 5 minutes of walking. In a moment I will share a lot more things, but I would also like to highlight that less than 9% of you are also subscribed to the channel. So when I'm gonna post the next tips and tricks, gold making, investment guide, or maybe anything else for Phase 2, then you might also miss out on those. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You should also make sure you enchant every single piece that's possible. This will increase your character's performance and also make the gear slot even better. Maybe you might be able to use this for 1 or 2 more levels before you'll replace it, simply because of the enchant. And talking about enchanting, if you don't have a profession, then make sure to learn this. You only need to be level 1 enchanter to disenchant every single item in the game. Why this is handy is because when you do a quest, and if you don't need the quest reward, or when you are replacing a current item, then instead of rendering this, you could disenchant it, keep the materials for later on, and these materials you can then use to get one of the new enchants in Phase 2. You should also get yourself a WorldBuffed and store this in a Chronoboom displacer. So head to the Nasus as an Alliance player or Thunderbluff as a Horde player. When someone hands in the quest item from BFD, there will also be casted a WorldBuffed at any player in those cities. And then you store this buff in the Chronoboom displacer and activate it when you're gonna level up. For those of you watching this video in Phase 1, one thing you can prepare is 20 completed quests, and you should mainly try to prioritize Elite quest, Raid quest, or even Dungeon quest, as these rewards a lot more experience. Then at the Phase 2 launch day, you hand in everything and claim 1 or 2 levels in a couple of minutes. This is gonna be huge, as you can then get to new zones that most people will not be able to enter or will start questing in. And this way you have way less competition and your leveling speed will now also be a lot quicker. Talking about quick leveling and Phase 1 preparations, if you have the time, try to also get as many flight points as possible so you can fly to new destinations where you will also be questing. One thing I will also be using myself is a leveling guide, so I know exactly where I will have to go in order to level as efficient as possible. And the leveling guide I'm using I will also leave in the description below this video. It is however a paid project, but it's definitely worth the money. On your map, it will display the different numbers, and these of course indicate where you will need to head next. It will also tell you in what order you need to do specific quests, so you don't end up spending a lot of travel time handing in quests and going back and forward in between different locations. No, it will optimize everything as it has been developed by the best speed levelers in World of Warcraft. It will also tell you when you need to change your hearthstone to a new location, and do this automatically when you speak to the innkeeper. There's a ton of other cool features. For example, being able to track where and also how you obtain runes in Season of Discovery. And there's gonna be an update anytime soon that will also allow you to see all the new runes in Phase 2. If this sounds interesting, then you can either try out the free version that works up to level 20 or purchase the full guide that works up to max level. And if you decide to purchase the full guide, then remember to also apply my discount code, which is GuideMMO. This will help you and me as a content creator. In Phase 2, there will be so many people leveling in the open world, and if you are in a layer where there's a lot of competition, then the add-on Nova WorldBuff might also become handy. What it does is to display the current layer you're on. So if you're in a guild with other people who also uses this add-on, and if you're on another layer, then they could invite you so you get transferred to theirs. That way you might also get to a layer where there's way less competition, so you can also level up more efficiently. Pay attention to all the guards here. Some of them change its position, and that's basically because right there are also changed layer. The next thing you can either do as a preparation or just do at any given time when you're leveling up. In the different main cities, you can speak to these quartermasters where you can hand in 60 wool cloth followed by 60 silk cloth. This will reward you a bit of reputation and also a bit of experience. It can only be done once, but as an alliance you can do this at 4 different locations, and it's also the exact same as a horde player. In a moment I'll share all the different locations I'll be using in between level 25 to 40 to farm a lot of gold and experience at the same time. But we also gotta remember that Phase 2 is so much different for those of you playing on a PvP server. All the zones will now be contested, at least the zones you will be leveling in, so it will not be like Phase 1, where you could quest in most of the zones without being attacked by the opposite faction. So if there's a lot of competition at the areas that I'm about to show you, then you could also mix it up with doing dungeons at the same time. The first area you can go to is in Wetlands, where you will be farming the Crimson Whelp. This is mainly going to be useful as an alliance player, as you will have a flight point for this location. There's 2 different reasons for why we farm these. The large fang that you can use as a leather worker and as an alchemist, and also for the small flame sack that you also use as an alchemist to craft the fire protection potion. Who knows, maybe there will be a big need for these when people are gonna raid Gnome again. As a horde, you could instead head to Thousand Needles, where you can farm these elementals for heavy stones and elemental earth. Both of these materials sells pretty well on the auction house. I also like this spot as an alliance player, as we have a nearby flight master. At around level 28, you could also swap to Hillsbrad Foothills, where you can kill these yetis. Not only do they drop many different things that sells for a high amount, but you can also skin them if you have leveled up your skinning. And if you're a miner, then make sure to also head into the cave, where you can find many different mining nodes. This farm you can then do until you reach level 32, where you will instead swap to Alterac Mountains and continue killing these yetis. If you have leveled up your herbalism, you will also benefit a lot from this spot, as you can collect many herbs, for example Winter's Bite. Another option at level 32 is to kill these whelps in Swamp of Sorrow. Not only can you get a pet you can post on the auction house and probably sell for a decent amount, but once again you can also get small flame sack and large fangs. To optimize your gold even further, make sure to be a skinner, and in this zone you can pretty much kill every single animal, especially these jaguars. You can see all the different grey items they can drop. These you can render right away and make a lot of raw silver. And yeah, with skinning you will benefit even further. You usually make in between 5 to 10 gold an hour, and I feel like this is pretty decent when you're just leveling up your character. At around level 34 you could instead swap to Badlands and kill these coyotes. They also drop many different items, 3 of them rendering for 5 silver or more. In my opinion, I feel like this is a better farm compared to Swamp of Sorrows, as the drop chance also seems to be a bit higher. For those of you interested in farming thick spider silk or shadow silk, then make sure to head to Dustwallow Marsh. This can also be done at around level 34 or 35. At level 36, I'll swap to Arathi Highlands and kill these Burning Exiles. Not only do they have a chance to drop Elemental Fire, but you can also get the Burning Charm that you can sell on the auction house to any warrior who wishes to complete the Whirlwind Weapon quest. In the same zone, you can also kill the Rumbling Exiles that has a chance to drop Elemental Earth, Solid Stone for engineering, and other materials you can render right away. If you head more to the northeast, you can also find these water elementals that has a chance to drop another material you will also need for the warrior quest, and you can also get elemental water at the same time, so definitely a spot you should also check out. So I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you wish to see more Season of Discovery content, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time I post a new video. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!